What's up, Boober Tubers? Snifty Dugan here. Today we're going to install an Arlen Ness Big Sucker Air Cleaner Kit. My Screaming Eagle, high flow, the back plate was stripped out. I think I know who did it. It wasn't me. That's besides the point. It needs to be changed. It's not making a good seal, and I figured I'd change it. Good maintenance, right? Hit the bell notification icon, hit the subscribe button, help a sucker out. We'll be back right after this. All right, let's see what we got inside the box. We got a plastic bag. Okay, this is the back plate. It is very well made. Pretty substantial. Nice and shiny. Let's see what else we have. Of course, we got the filter and a bunch of washers, O-rings, gaskets, and basically I'll call this the installation kit. A big old air filter, as my grandson would say, big old air filter. And the front plate. This goes on basically on the outside. So basically this goes like this. Just like that. That's kind of cool that this little, I'll call it a little nipply thing. He said nipple, yes. Creates like a vortex inside the intake, which is cool. I guess so it could swallow up more air. That's pretty neat. Anyway, let's get to installing this sucker. Okay, we got everything laid out nice and nice. Got some breather bolts, gaskets, O-rings. These are to direct airflow, or oil rather, blow by, coming out of the breather bolts. Right, the oil trickles down through here instead of having rubber tubes like stock has, and it just basically goes out the end of this and into the intake to get burned up again. All right, let's take the Screaming Eagle one apart. Okay, take the cover off. Gently lay it down on the table. All right, so this is the bolt. These two are stripped. They, after a little bit of riding, they come off. I'm surprised it's even stuck on there. Let's get rid of these. Alright, that's the old Screaming Eagle filter. You know, this filter media is reusable. You can clean it. K&N sells a cleaning kit. I usually use some dish soap, some hot water, and I'll jiggle it in there in a bucket, clean it all out, and let it dry, and then use filter oil. It's a little spray can, and recoat it. Nice thin layer. All right, so here's the breather tubes. These tubes get replaced. So we're gonna pop these off. Okay, the last one. Then we have to take the breather bolts out as well. We're going to replace those with, yeah, okay. Always a pain in the ass. Take the breather bolts off. These are 7/16. Now, the lighting's not the greatest. We're still dealing with the remnants of Hurricane Ian. Okay, once you get them loosened up, you'll be able to just pull these out. See a little hole there, that's where the oil comes out. And if you see here, there was a little rubber hose that went to the top and would go into here. And any blow-by as the engine was breathing, it sometimes shoots oil out, especially if you overfill it with oil. And it goes back into the intake there to be burned up again. So let's take this one off. Alright, let me explain something real quick. If this was stock, you would have a black metal bracket connecting, right? It would be a black metal bracket that goes across all four of these. You got to take that off. We don't need that, right? Arlen Ness gives us a little nameplate to go right here. We're just connecting right into the breather bolts, and that's it. We do not need these two. There's the little nameplate. Okay, these are the two little vent tubes. We're going to put them in place. They only go in one way. Push them in through the back, like so. So the oil's gonna, I'll show you through the back here. Let me get the second one off. Again, the oil's gonna flow down through here, come out this little tube into the intake. All right, that's extra blow by. All right, so basically the directions are saying a little small dab of Loctite in these three holes. 1 and 3. And then we put the gasket and the cover faceplate on top. All right, then we have 3 8/32 screws. All right, those are Phillips head. Next step is to put the O-rings on the back side. An O-ring goes here, an O-ring goes here. This is going to seal up where the breathers shoot oil out of the heads into the intake, right? So you need to seal that up. Put a little grease on that to hold it in place. Just a little dab in there. Now these are basically following the instructions step by step. Got the O-ring there, and an O-ring here. All right. So you know the O-ring is going to seal right here and right here. All right, next we're going to put on the main gasket. Let's put a little grease over here to hold that gasket in place, otherwise it's going to bounce all over the damn place. And remember the cutout. Got the cutout here. It's going to get it on the cutout on the cast over here. You'll see it. we're going to put that gasket on. Put a little grease on that to hold it in place. And we're going to put these bolts through the other side. We're going to put on that little nameplate. You do not need to put this nameplate on, but why not? I'm going to torque this down to 8 to 10 foot-pounds, just to make sure it doesn't come loose. All right, next we're going to put some blue Loctite here, here, here. All right, next is to put this backplate on. We want to leave these a little loose. We're going to do the big breather bolts along with this. So we don't want to tighten it up yet until we get those in place. And we have to put an O-ring in here and here as well. So let's go ahead and do that. All right, O-rings in place. Get the breather bolts. These are the breather bolts. All right, thread locker is on there. Now, you don't need a ton of thread lock. A drop. Now, important is these three get torqued down to 8 to 10, and the breather bolts are 18 to 20 foot-pounds. All right, pretty important. 8 to 10 as well for these three. All right, next we're going to install the actual filter cartridge. That's a nice. Look at the size of that. That's nice. And we're going to put the top cover on. Like so. So blue Loctite, all three. The two long screws go on this side, obviously, because she's a fat. And then the short screw goes in here. Don't forget the blue Loctite. Again, 8 to 10 foot-pounds of torque. I have to get a smaller torque wrench so I can do this. Not too tight. Not too tight. Okay, the last thing is this little white spacer. This goes behind the center bolt here. You turn that. Now this is the stock cover. All right, you got the main center bolt there. Put the spacer on. And then you put the cover back on. All right. All right, we're going to mount this top cover. Now it's interesting. I'm looking at this, and that spacer leaves, if you can see right here, Hold on. If you can see right there, it leaves a little space so air can get in between the crack there as well. So the back part of that filter gets its own air instead of everything getting pulled from the front. Pretty cool. Genius idea, boys. Corrected. Center bolt is 10 pounds. All right. So I'm going to have to take the cover off and retort this stuff down during the week. Once I get that smaller torque wrench. Let's clean up all the oil. There's a bunch of goo on there. Now she's a nice and nice. I gotta put my little cover on there, get some Willie G back on, and we're good to go. All right, again, tighten that up a little bit, wipe it all down, and we are done. That is the Arlen Ness big sucker. And it sure is, man. It's going to pull in a lot more air than even the Screaming Eagle one. I'm kind of curious. Let's see if there's a difference. Yeah, there's a pretty big difference. I don't know if you guys can see that in the video. But it looks like it's another 1/4 inch wider at least. So we'll see how she runs. One final wipe. Wipe a wipe, a nice and nice. There we go. Arlen Ness big sucker. Not a terrible install. Look, I'm not a professional by any means. I'm not a mechanic at all. I've done a lot of work on my cars when I was a kid. And generally, I bring my bike into the shop. But for something like this, it's pretty easy. You can get it done. Don't be intimidated. It's as simple as this video. And again, I'm not a pro, so don't be intimidated by it. This big sucker, I'll drop a link down below. I think I paid $168 for it. So for a stage 1 air cleaner, it's not bad. It's pretty good. And they have a bunch of different choices. I like the stock look, so I left it. I don't have to worry. I don't want to worry about a rain cover and stuff like that. I do a lot of riding in the rain, unfortunately. While I'm traveling, you always get stuck. So help a sucker out. Hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notification icon, and we'll see you guys later.